Today we're going to tackle a topic that has been at the center of countless debates, headlines, and even some confusion: global warming. But don't worry, we're not just going to scratch the surface. We're going to dig into the science, the controversies, and the surprising findings that might just change the way you think about this critical issue. Our guide on this journey is the book Global Warming: A Guide to the Science by Willie Soon, Sallie Baliunas, Arthur B. Robinson, and Zachary W. Robinson. Its goal is to cut through the noise and explain the science behind global warming in a way that's accessible and clear. Why is this important? Well, in a world where complex scientific issues are often reduced to sound bites and slogans, understanding the science is more crucial than ever. Let's start by talking about the landscape of public discourse on global warming. As the book points out, there's a long history of anti-movements when it comes to new technologies and products. From globalization to genetic engineering, activists have often relied on dramatic images and catchy slogans to grab attention and push for regulation or elimination of these technologies. But here's the catch. The goal isn't always to educate, it's to persuade. And in this environment, the benefits of these technologies are often ignored, while the risks are exaggerated. Now let's talk about the media. We all rely on newspapers, TV, and radio to keep us informed, but when it comes to complex scientific issues, the media can sometimes fall short. Journalists often have tight deadlines and may not have a scientific background, making it tempting to rely on activists for information. And let's face it, bad news sells better than good news. For example, a study showing improved air quality might get buried on page 24, while a plane crash dominates the headlines. So, what does the science actually say about global warming? The book presents a detailed analysis of the evidence, and here's what it concludes. While atmospheric carbon dioxide levels have indeed risen over the past century, there's no clear evidence that this has had a significant negative impact on global climate or temperature. In fact, the data suggests that the warming observed in the early 20th century was likely due to natural causes, as it occurred before most of the human-induced greenhouse gases were added to the atmosphere. Now you might be wondering about the role of carbon dioxide in the greenhouse effect. The book explains that while CO2 is a greenhouse gas, it's not the most significant one. Water vapor and clouds play a much larger role in creating the greenhouse effect. And here's an interesting point. The increase in CO2 has had a noticeable positive effect on plant growth. Numerous laboratory and field experiments have shown that higher CO2 levels can lead to increased photosynthesis, improved water use efficiency, and enhanced drought tolerance in plants. This brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of the book, the impact of CO2 on plant life. The authors argue that the greening of the planet, as seen in satellite images, is partly due to the fertilizing effect of CO2. This is particularly beneficial for plants under stress, such as those in arid regions or areas with high temperatures. The book cites studies showing that increased CO2 can lead to significant growth enhancements in various plant species, from wheat to orange trees to pine seedlings. But what does this mean for the future? The authors suggest that the accelerated plant growth could potentially offset some of the carbon emissions from human activities, acting as a natural carbon sink. This is a significant finding, as it challenges the narrative that rising CO2 levels are an unmitigated disaster for the planet. Of course, no discussion of global warming would be complete without talking about climate models. The book delves into the limitations of these models, highlighting the uncertainties and assumptions that go into their predictions. For example, the models often struggle to accurately represent the complex interactions between the ocean and the atmosphere, as well as the feedback effects of clouds and water vapor. The authors argue that while climate models are a valuable tool, they are not infallible and should be viewed with a critical eye. In conclusion, Global Warming: A Guide to the Science offers a nuanced and evidence-based perspective on one of the most pressing issues of our time. It challenges us to look beyond the headlines and consider the full range of scientific evidence. While the debate over global warming is far from settled, the book encourages us to approach the topic with curiosity, skepticism, and a commitment to understanding the science. This has been a BrightLearn video from brightlearn.ai on the book Global Warming, A Guide to the Science by Willie Soon, Sallie Baliunas, Arthur B. Robinson, and Zachary W. Robinson. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.